hear the sound of the breeze carrying us away. Dust in the rear view, free as a bird. This is our time, no matter what they say. Every mile behind only brought us here. Now the road is clear. Shotgun ride on my Friday night. Sunset fire burning in our eyes. Let's leave the past in the past and deal with it another day. All we got is this open road. No plans, just a cranked up radio. Ain't promising forever, ain't no end in sight. Girl, I'm loving the ride. You know I'm loving the ride. Oh yeah, loving the ride.
Hey friends, welcome back to Minor Details, the podcast where no detail is too minor and the real life moments matter most. I'm your host, Jess Minor, and today's episode is one that is especially close to my heart. I know they all are, but even more so today. April is Autism Awareness Month, and today I want to share what that journey has looked like for our family through my eyes as a mom. This is the story of my son, Sonny. The signs we noticed, the decisions we made, the emotions we felt, and everything this journey has taught me about love, patience, and advocacy. And yes, today I am using kind of a script because there were a lot of points that I wanted to make during this episode, a lot of details about my journey that I didn't want to skip over. And so I did write them all down. Don't judge me. But I feel like this is a very important topic, and I didn't want to miss anything that would be significant in our journey. So bear with me. My son, Sonny, was almost 2 when I started noticing the signs. At first, it was little things, but as a mom, you just know. He was delayed in speech. He would line up all of his toys in like a specific line. He would spin in circles. And I noticed that he had some sensory sensitivities, especially like when it came to touching things. And like the thing is, I wasn't completely unfamiliar with it because I also have a nephew who is autistic. And my mom has also worked with children who have special needs a majority of her life. So when my mom gently pointed out something to me, it didn't feel random. It just felt like a confirmation of something I had already been quietly thinking to myself. And in those early moments, I wasn't even concerned about the label. I was concerned about his speech because I didn't want him to fall behind. And one thing that I will preach until I'm blue in the face is that communication is important, and even more so at that level, because just think you as an adult, how frustrated you get when people don't understand what you mean and what you say. Now amplify that with a child who can't get his needs and wants across, especially to, their parents. So I just didn't want him to fall behind. And Patrick and I talked about it, and honestly, we looked at it as like a win-win situation. Either he wasn't autistic and he just needed speech therapy, and we could get him a speech therapist. We had access to those resources. Chloe also needed speech therapy when she was in preschool, right? No big deal. Or he was autistic, and we would get him exactly the help that he needed to succeed. Either way, we were going to show up for him. So we moved forward with getting him evaluated as soon as we could. Not out of fear, not out of denial, but because we wanted to do what was best for Sonny. The day of his evaluation, I wasn't necessarily nervous. I think I was just kind of sitting in the unknown. We had been guessing for so long, making little assumptions in our heads, but I just wanted answers. We did go in with open minds. We spent a few hours in a room with a doctor, and she asked us questions, she observed him play, and she watched how he interacted. And we got the results the same day. And I will never forget that moment when she said those words out loud, that Sonny is autistic. Even though we prepared ourselves, even though we knew it was a possibility, hearing the actual words, it hit me like a truck. But I honestly think I blacked out for a second. And I didn't cry then, but I did feel something that I didn't expect, which was relief. Because at least now we had definite answers and we could really put a plan into motion. So I want to share a little story that I've never shared publicly before. The day after Sonny's diagnosis, I had already planned a little trip for myself. I went up to the valley, I got a new tattoo, I spent the night at my brother's house, and it was something that I really needed. I needed that time by myself. Because for the first time, I had space to actually feel everything. And that's when the tears came. But not because Sonny was autistic, but because I knew that life might be different for him. I had this overwhelming fear that people would treat him differently. Like he was less than, or like he didn't belong. And that broke my heart. Because the world can already be such a scary and judgmental place. And as a mom, all you want to do is protect your kids from that. And I remember praying that I would be strong enough to guide him through life with so much love and support that he would never feel ashamed of who he is. I never wanted his diagnosis to define him. I just wanted people to see the same sweet, amazing boy that I saw. One thing that I am really proud of us for is that we didn't wait. We started therapy immediately after getting his diagnosis, like as soon as we could. So right after his second birthday. We got him into speech therapy and occupational therapy through early intervention, and we went straight into action. And I'm really thankful that we did. We had the most incredible therapist come to our house like twice a month to work with Sonny. And it wasn't easy at first. Sonny didn't understand structure yet. Sitting still, following directions, especially from people that he didn't know personally and didn't see, every single day. So it was hard for him. But his therapists were so patient, so encouraging. And what meant the most to me was how they celebrated him. Things that might seem small to other kids or for other kids were huge milestones for Sonny. And they treated those moments like they mattered, which taught me to do the same. And I do have to say this. Choosing your partner in life matters so much. Because in moments like this, you truly see it. Patrick knew my fears. He knew my worries about Sonny's safety, his acceptance, and his future. But not once did he ever make me feel like I was carrying this alone. We were a team from the very beginning. We never questioned showing up for our son, And we never considered anything other than loving him exactly how he is. And that kind of support, it's everything. Since Sonny's diagnosis, I've changed as a mom. And honestly, I think it's made me better. I have so much more patience now, but not even just for my own kids, but for all kids. I see them differently. I respect the way they learn, the way they process the world. And something that has really stood out to me is how naturally kind kids can be. Sonny started preschool last year, and I won't lie, that brought up all of my fear once again. Because at that point, he still, wasn't speaking full sentences still. And I worried. How will other kids treat him? Will they understand him? Will they include him? And then one day, I dropped him off at school. And I just kept hearing, "Hi, Sonny. Hi, Sonny. Good morning, Sonny." And some of the kids waved at him. Some of them went up and they gave him huge hugs. And I just it was a full circle moment for me. And I wanted to cry, happy tears, because my baby was accepted. And in that moment, I felt this overwhelming sense of peace. Like, we're doing okay. Like, he's going to be okay. Sonny is one of the most resilient people I know. When he wants to figure out something, he will. He's learned how to ask for help. He's learning new words all the time. He's even starting to say small sentences now. And every time he says a new word, I feel like it's the biggest celebration in the world. He thrives in routine. He's curious. He's happy. He's loving. And he makes me proud every single day. If there's one thing I want more people to understand, it's this. Autism is a spectrum. It's not a one size fits all. What works for one child might not necessarily work for the next. And more importantly, a diagnosis does not define a child. When people meet Sonny, I don't lead off with, "He's autistic," because he is so much more than that. He's thoughtful, he's hilarious, he's bright, and he is full of life. He just experiences the world a little differently. And that's not something that needs to be fixed. It's something that deserves to be understood. And that is exactly the way I explain autism to my 8-year-old daughter. She is aware of her brother's diagnosis, but it is also something that she doesn't use to describe her brother. I always like to think about what Sonny might be like when he grows up. Right now, I tell everybody he's going to be a zoologist because he loves all animals so much. And the thing is, I believe that he can do anything. I truly do. If you're a mom who is just starting this journey, I see it. I know how scary it can feel, but I also want you to know there is so much more awareness now. And there is support, there is community, and there is nothing shameful about autism. We are raising a generation that is more understanding, more kind, and more inclusive. And we are our children's biggest advocate. So use your voice, be their safe place, be their example. And here's your minor detail for today. Love doesn't change after a diagnosis. It deepens. It stretches you, it challenges you, but it also teaches you a kind of patience and acceptance that you didn't even know you were capable of. I am so thankful for the resources that we've had, for the therapists, for the doctors, for every person who has supported Sonny along the way. But more than anything, I am thankful for him, for who he is, and for everything that he has taught me. He was made perfectly, exactly the way he was supposed to be, exactly the way he is meant to be. And I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you so much for being here today and for allowing me to continue to share my life with you guys and to be honest and real and just to share my experiences that I go through. I like to joke that I live a million different lives. I think if you know me personally, you know that I share that often, but it's true. And sometimes I think there's things that happen to me for a reason. And Sunny's autism diagnosis has never been an inconvenience. If anything, it's been a blessing because at the end of the day, I have a son that I prayed for and was brought into this world with love. And he continues to be amazing and loving and caring. He's the best little brother and the best big brother that anybody could ask for. He's sweet. He's thoughtful. He's everything. And I just wish that the world stays kind to him and that the world is kind to every child who is autistic and every child who might just be a little bit quirky. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it or send it to somebody else that might need it. But that is all I have for you guys today. So until next time, bye.